Okay, stop whatever you are doing right now because if you are a red, white and royal blue fan, this is the moment you have been waiting for, and I am not exaggerating even a little bit. The sequel is real, it is in motion, the cast is coming back, and everything we thought we knew about Alex and Henry's story is about to get so much bigger, so much messier, and honestly so much more emotional than we ever imagined. So let's talk about everything because there is a lot to unpack and every single detail matters. When red, white and royal blue dropped, it did not just quietly succeed, it completely took over. The story of Alex Claremont-Diaz, son of the US president, secretly falling in love with Prince Henry of England should have felt like a fairy tale too far-fetched to care about, but instead it became one of the most emotionally resonant love stories we had seen in years. The chemistry between Zakhar Perez and Nicholas Galitzine was undeniable, those private emails turning into something raw and real felt genuinely beautiful. And by the time the credits rolled, fans were not just satisfied, they were desperate for more. And now more is exactly what we are getting. The sequel has an official title and it is called Red, White and Royal Wedding, and just that title alone tells you so much about where this story is heading. We are no longer in the world of secret glances and hidden messages. This is wide open, public high-stakes territory, and the center of it all is a royal wedding tied to Henry's sister, Beatrice. Now think about that for a second. Alex and Henry, two people who struggled just to exist in the same room without the entire world imploding around them, are now going to be front and center at one of the most watched, most scrutinized public events imaginable. If you think that is going to go smoothly, you clearly have not been paying attention. The best news of all is that Zakhar Perez and Nicholas Galitzine are both confirmed to return, and honestly that was the only outcome that made sense. Their dynamic is irreplaceable, and without them this sequel simply would not carry the same weight. Uma Thurman and Shahi are also coming back, which means this feels like a true continuation of the world we already love rather than a reboot pretending to be something new. But here is where things get really interesting. Lena Headey has joined the cast and her character details are still being kept tightly under wraps. If you know anything about Lena Headey's career, you know she does not do simple or straightforward. Her presence alone suggests that this sequel is going to have layers of complexity that we are not prepared for, and I mean that in the most exciting way possible. Behind the camera there is one significant change. Matthew Lopez, who directed the first film and gave it that perfect balance of warmth and longing, is stepping back from the director's chair. But here is the important part, he is still involved in writing the story, which means the original creative voice and emotional DNA of this world is not going anywhere. Jamie Babbitt is stepping in as director, and her background in blending sharp humor with genuine emotional depth is actually a really promising fit for where this sequel needs to go. Now here is the part that has fans both thrilled and slightly anxious at the same time. Unlike the first film, which was adapted from Casey McQuiston's beloved novel, this sequel is completely original. There is no book to follow, no roadmap, no safety net of existing source material. Everything is being written from scratch, which gives the writers total creative freedom but also an enormous amount of responsibility. They have to recreate that same magic, that same emotional authenticity, without the foundation that made the first story so powerful. It is a real challenge, but it also opens the door to something genuinely surprising and unexpected, which is honestly kind of exciting when you think about it. In terms of what the story will actually explore, the emotional territory here feels rich and complicated in all the right ways. Alex and Henry are no longer hiding. They are public. They are scrutinized. Every step they take, every decision they make, every moment between them is now under a microscope, and placing that pressure inside the setting of a royal wedding is the perfect pressure cooker for drama. Alex stepping deeper into the structured, tradition-bound world of the British royal family is going to be fascinating to watch, because everything about who he is as a person, loud, passionate, rule-bending, is going to clash with a world built entirely on decorum and expectation. And Henry, who spent the entire first film fighting between duty and his own heart, is not suddenly free of that conflict just because the relationship is public now. If anything, being visible makes the internal battle even harder because now the whole world has an opinion. As for when we can expect all of this, an official release date has not been confirmed yet, but based on where production currently stands, late 2026 or early 2027 seems like the realistic window, with a holiday release feeling especially fitting for a story this romantic and emotionally charged. It is still a little while away, but the fact that everything is actively in motion, cast confirmed, story developing, production underway, means this is no longer a maybe. It is happening. And if this sequel can capture even a piece of what made the original so special while layering in new emotion, new conflict, and the kind of stakes that come with living your love story in front of the entire world, then we could genuinely be looking at something unforgettable. Subscribe and turn on notifications because the moment anything new drops about Red, White and Royal Wedding, we are going to be breaking it all down right here.